Mr. Chairman. And thank you, gentlemen, for your service. This committee has responsibility to conduct oversight of the administration's strategy for prosecuting the U.S. counter-ISIL campaign. And it's quite appropriate for members of this committee to express their disagreement and disapproval of the administration's strategy. However, the tone of the disagreement, disapproval is important. Politicians know that relentless personal attacks on the president himself provoke a visceral reaction by the American people against the president. And that's a part of our campaign process. But what effect does the unprecedented level of attack on our commander-in-chief have on our relationships with our allies, for instance? What impact does it have on our ability to galvanize our regional and nation supporters to participate in the strategy that we are leading? What impact does it have on the enemies of America who we are leading the strategy against? If I might start by asking that question of you, Secretary Carter, and next of you, General Dunford.
Well, you can ask the question, but I'm not going to respond to it, and I'll tell you why. I serve at the pleasure of President Obama and obviously support his policies, but we're coming into an electoral season now in the United States, which I respect very much. However, I also very much respect the tradition and necessity of defense to be out of the political swirl, and I intend to conduct myself in that manner over the next year and a quarter or so of my service as Secretary of Defense, and I especially consider it one of my responsibilities to shield our military from that swirl. Their job is to give their professional military advice in a candid manner, no matter what the politics say, and to conduct the nation's operations to protect our people. So with great respect, I understand where you're coming from in terms of your question, but I would prefer not to answer it because of its connection with the electoral cycle.
Well, thank you. I respect that answer. And General Danforth?
Sir, I think it's even more important for me in uniform to have the same position.
Well, thank you. And I assume that it probably does have some impact on our relationship with our allies and all of the other components that we have to work with to successfully prosecute this mission. And I have another question. How many ISIL forces are there in Iraq and Syria?
The estimates are in the neighborhood, but I want to emphasize these are estimates. So Chairman and I are conferring on notes here, estimates in the neighborhood of 30,000. I hesitate to give numbers like that for the reason that I don't think our intelligence information is perfect in that regard, and because they may involve people with varying levels of responsibility or actual adherence to ISIL. Let me see if the chairman wants to add anything to that, but I just ask everyone to take with a grain of salt numbers like that, because we do our best, or our intelligence community does their very best to be accurate, but I at least look with caution upon those estimates.
I think that's exactly right, Mr. Secretary, and the estimates have been consistently between 20 and 30,000, Congressman. But I have the same caution in sharing those numbers or actually confirming the veracity of those numbers.